Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a great little hover effect for you today. It's very similar to one we did a few days ago. We did this one with the menu a couple of days ago, and we're using a similar code to do this right here. We just did a video of this with the Elementor theme, and somebody asked if we could do it with Divi, and of course the answer is yes. So let's get started. I'm going to be writing this code in the customizer today, and don't let the coding put you off. Any code that I write I'll put down below the video as usual, and you're welcome to copy and paste it, use it how you wish. And let's go down and let's get rid of this code here. Now to achieve this today, we're going to be using a pseudo element before and after to add this, and we're writing it in the CSS here, so we can just add the class to any module, row or section or anything you want, and it'll have our little lines appear like that. So let's go back to our page. I'm going to enable the visual builder and we'll start from scratch. Okay, well I'm going to pop another little section in and make it a regular section. I'm going to put a row in with 3 columns. Well, let's change it up. Let's put a row in with 2 columns. Inside, I'm just going to use a text module. Divi comes as standard with all these modules right here. Let's just pop a little text module in there. There we go. I'm going to split it up so we've got a title and a heading. I'm going to pop it in the middle and give it a bit of space all round, and that's all we'll do for it. So the text, I'm going to pop that in the middle. I'm going to go down to spacing. And I'm going to give it, let's give it 30 pixels all round in the padding. Just put the 30 in, it'll put the pixels in for you. Hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. Similar for left and right. There we go. So we've got a simple text module there. And we've got 30 pixels padding all around. So if we add a border to this, it's going to be 30 pixels. In fact, I can do it. Just add a border, I'll show you exactly what it's going to look like. So there's our 30 pix spacing all around. Let's take that away. Now I'm going to give this a class name so we can target it with our CSS. So let's go over to the advanced, and you can make up any class name that you want. I'm going to go down to CSS ID and classes. I'm going to call mine DBRD. It's my kind of shorthand for double border. You call yours what you want. It wants to be unique, and it's a good idea if it means something to you as well. Okay, we're good to go on this page. Let's save this. We'll save the page changes. Exit the visual builder. Let's go back to our customized page. I'm going to have to refresh this. Make sure we publish first. There we go. There's our new module right there. Let's go down to our additional CSS. We've got our little old modules poking up down the bottom there. Okay, well we gave it that class name of DBRD for double border. All class names have to have a dot or a period in front. And don't forget, anybody that doesn't want to code this in real time, the code's all down below if you just need to copy and paste it. Okay, well like I say, we're using pseudo elements, so I've got to put 2 colons here. Like I say before, I'm going to put a comma because we're going to add the after as well, and we want to affect both of those. So you can either type it out again, or you can just copy it. I want to add after. Semicolon. Now we've got them, we can open our curly brackets, and inside we can write the code that we want. Now we've got to create something. You're not going to see anything here for a bit until I give it a color and an actual size. So we need to put some content in there. Colon. Just open some inverted commas here. Semicolon. We'll go on to our next line of code. We want to give it a bit of height. Now my border, I'm going to make mine 4 pixels. You make yours what you want, but I'm going to say height 4 pixels. And width-wise, I want mine to stretch to about 20%. Well, this is what I used before. You can adjust this if you don't like it. To about 20% of the width here. Then it's going to animate up to 100%. So I'm going to start off at 20%. So I'll say width 20%. Now we've got to make these position at absolute so they stay where we put them. And we can individually place each one when we do them in a minute. Okay, that's great. Now we actually need to create them. So let's take this first one, the before, without the comma there, Control C. I'm going to drop down a couple. I'm going to open some curly brackets right there, and we can create our before element. So again, we need to use the content. We can just steal this line of code here. And where do we want it? I want it halfway across. So let's say left 50%. And I want it right at the top, so let's say top 0. Now we can create the border, and you'll actually see it now. So I'm going to say border top. And like I say, I'm going to give it 4 picks. I'm going to make it solid. And let's find our logo color up here so we can match it to our site. I've got a free Chrome color picker, a little handy item. I'm going to click on there. There's our hex color. I'm going to copy that. And let's make it same blue as our logo there. So it's hashtag and then the hex color. And as you can see, it's appeared down there, semicolon. And there it is. Now we want it right in the middle of our element, and at the moment the way we've positioned it, left 50% across, that left corner of it is smack in the middle right there. So we need a bit of transform translate to pull it back by half of its width. So let's do that. I'm going to say transform, colon translate, and open some round brackets with no gap at the end. And I'm going to do it by minus 50% of the width. Now I don't need to do anything to the height, so I'm just going to put the one attribute in there, minus 50%. And as you can see, that's scooted that over. Fantastic. Okay, but we want the same thing on the bottom. If you're wondering what these lines are down here, these are old ones and they've got the same class, so it's appearing down here as well. So we want the same on the bottom. So instead of going through all this again, I'm just going to copy this, Control V, paste it down below. I'm going to change the before to the after. Now I want it on the bottom this time, not the top. I still want it in the middle, so that left is fine, so I'm going to say bottom. Now you can see it there. The reason you couldn't see it before, it was on top of the other one. Okay, color's fine, transform, translate, that's absolutely fine too. Great. Okay, when we hover over it, I want it to grow to be 100% of our module size there. So let's create a hover state. And we can copy our two class names right here, the before and after. Control C, and I'm going to drop down to just below them. I tend to put my hover states just below the regular states. It makes things easier to find if you want to change them. I'm going to paste those in there. And to create a hover state, right in between the two colons there, we have to put the word hover on both the before and the after. Then we can open and close some curly brackets, and we can write some code that'll affect it when we hover over. So I want to bring this width from 20%, I may as well just copy this, Control C, up to 100%. So now when we hover over, you can see it starts off at 20, we're hovering over, and it goes to 100%. Now that is happening absolutely instantly. I like to slow it down for a bit of drama, so it sort of slides out. And we can fade it in using a bit of opacity as well. So first, let's do transition duration, and we'll sort out the timing. So in the regular state, not the hover state, for best practice, we'll do transition dash duration colon, and let's give it 0.7 seconds, something like that. Obviously you give yours as long as you wish for it to happen. Now when we actually do this, it's gradually, it's taking 0.7 of a second to get out to the ends there, which is a lot more interesting in my view. Okay, now we've done that. I really don't want to see anything initially. I don't want to see this line when we're not hovering over it. I just want it to sort of fade in as we're hovering over it. So we can use opacity to do that. So let's drop down one more, and I'm going to make it invisible. I'm going to say opacity 0. And as you may have noticed, it's disappeared over here because opacity 0 is completely transparent. Opacity 1 is completely visible. And you can increment in between 0.1, 0.2, etc. for different transparencies. So let's copy this. We'll drop this in the hover state. And we want to bring it back. So I'm going to change that 0 to a 1, which is fully visible. So now there's nothing there. When we hover over it, it should fade in and go up to 100%. There we go. And that's a nice little effect to get on your site. People are sort of mousing around and that happens. It's going to get their attention pretty quickly, which is what you want. Now, of course, as we've created it as a class name, you can add this to anything. You can add it to a row or a button or anything you want. I added it to a button around here and just changed a bit of padding. And these lines will appear. So once you've created it in here, you can keep reusing it by just using that class name, which is great. So let's publish our changes. We'll go back to our page and we'll refresh this page. Go on down, and there it is. So there you go, guys. There's how to add an animated double border to your Divi theme. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.